currency of the country.
Yes. Let's say sometimes you want to buy some goods and services. Let's say if you want to buy a product from a market. So you will visit a market and will ask the price. Let's say the seller will tell you that the price of, suppose this marker is $10. You will pay $10 and you will get this marker. It means you will pay the price for this marker. If you value this marker too much, you will pay more. Let's say if you will value this marker less, you will pay less amount. So you want to buy some things and you will pay the price. Same is the case with the exchange rate. Suppose if you have dollars in your hands and you want Turkish lira, what you will do? You will visit a money exchanger, will pay dollars and will get Turkish lira. It means you are paying the price of Turkish lira in terms of US dollars. So we can say that very simply that exchange rate represents the price of one currency in terms of another currency. The price of one currency in terms of another currency are very simply the price of dollars in terms of Turkish lira. This is known as exchange rate. Is it clear? The price of one currency in terms of another currency. So the exchange rate between two countries is the price at which residents of the two countries trade with each other. Let's say you belong to Turkey and you want to import, let's say, this marker from the United States. You have Turkish lira in your hands, but you will pay in dollars. You will pay in dollars. So, let's say if there is a trade between two persons, two community or two nations, you must have the international currency in your hands. Dollar is the international currency. In Cyprus, in Turkey, Turkish lira is the national currency, but Turkish lira is not the international currency. For international flows, goods and services, you must have international currency. So it is better to convert one currency into another. So we can say that the exchange rate between two countries is the price at which residents of the two countries trade with each other. But economists distinguish between two exchange rates. To economists, there are two exchange rates. One is known as nominal exchange rate and the second one is known as real exchange rate. We are now going to discuss these two types of exchange rates in detail. What do we mean by the nominal exchange rate? So very simply, the nominal exchange rate is the relative price of the currencies of two countries. A relative price of the currencies of two countries. For example, if the exchange rate between the US dollar and the Japanese yen is 80 yen per dollar, then you can exchange $1 for 80 yen in the exchange market. Look at here. Let's say we have two currencies. One is, suppose we have two countries, USA versus Japan. The national currency of the United States of America is dollar. So US dollar and yen or Japanese yen. Now, suppose if the exchange rate between the US dollar and the Japanese yen is 80 yen per dollar. 80 yen per dollar. It means $1 equals 80 yen. Is it clear? You will pay 1 in terms of dollar and you will get 80 yens. So we can say that the Japanese yen is 80 yen per dollar. Then you can exchange $1 for 80 yen in the foreign exchange market. Let's say if you need 80 yen, you will pay $1. Or simply we can say that the price of $1 is 80 Japanese yen. The price of dollar or the price of $1 is 80 Japanese yen. This is known as exchange rate, or very simply nominal exchange rate. So simply we can say that the nominal exchange rate shows relative prices of the currencies. Relative price, you can see this is the price of two currencies. We can say that this represents relative prices, or simply you can write as yen per dollar. Can you see this is a price ratio? This is a price ratio, or this ratio represents the prices of two currencies. That's why we can say that the nominal exchange rate is the relative price of currencies. Is it clear? Okay. Now, let's say a Japanese who wants to obtain dollars. Let's say if you belong to the United States and you need yen. For $1 you can get 80 yen. Suppose if there is a person or a resident of Japan and he wants dollars, the question is how much he will pay. How much he will pay? You know, I will pay $1 and I can get 80 yen. But let's say if there is a person, a trader or any layman and he needs dollars, how much he will pay? 80 yen for $1. Okay. So a Japanese who wants to obtain dollars would pay 80 yen for each dollar. For each dollar, because this is the relative prices, or this is the exchange rate. So for $1 he will pay 80. For $2 he will pay 160 yen, and so on. An American who wants to obtain yen would get 80 yen for each dollar. So for each dollar, American will pay $1 and he can get 80 yen. But a Japanese will pay 80 yen per $1. This is the exchange rate, or it is known as the nominal exchange rate. When people refer to the exchange rate between two nations, they usually mean the nominal exchange rate. So when you visit the money exchange market and you pay, let's say, dollars and want to buy, suppose, Turkish lira, Japanese yen or British pound, it means you are dealing with nominal exchange rate. So the exchange rate which you can see in the exchange markets is basically represent the nominal exchange rate. So very simply we can say that nominal exchange rate represents the price of one currency in terms of another currency, or in other words, it represents the price of a home country in terms of a foreign currency. There are two countries, one is home, one is foreign. If you belong to the United States will be considered as home. And let's say if you need the Japanese yen, in this case Japan will be considered as a foreign currency. So sometimes you will read the literature, research articles, the macroeconomics books, you will find home and foreign currency. It is better, like when you will read the Gregory Mincu book. Gregory Mincu is a professor I think yes, he was a professor in the Harvard University of the United States. So this is a US book. The other is a US national. So when he will say a home country, it means he is considering the United States a home country because he belongs to the United States. So when you will read the book, home country in terms of foreign, home prices in terms of foreign, home prices or home currency will be the prices in the United States and the US dollar. And in the example, like in this, now Japan is a foreign currency, a foreign country, and its currency will be considered as a foreign currency. So you must understand these two terminologies. Now, notice that an exchange rate can be reported in two ways. We can report this ratio or this exchange rate in two different forms. One, if $1 buys 80 yen, then $1 buys this much dollar. Yes, if $1 buys 80 yen, this is the ratio. If $1 buys 80 yen, then 1 yen buys this much dollar. So can we say that this is the price of US dollars in terms of 1 yen?
Yes.
Clear? Okay. We can say that the exchange rate is 80 yen per dollar. So you can report this exchange rate in this way, 80 yen per dollar. Or similarly, we can say that the exchange rate is this much dollars per yen. So this is your choice. I am always using this one. And from the Google you will also find this one, $80, like you will say Turkish lira, suppose TL2, suppose TL, when you will write in the Google TL2 USD, so you will find this ratio, dollar will be here. It means TL per dollar. You will see, suppose, if it is 18 TL equals $1. It means you will pay 18 Turkish lira to get $1. Is it clear?
Yes.
So this is your choice. If you want to express the relationship between the prices of the two currencies in this way or this way. I'm using this one. This is comparatively easy. So we can say that this amount equals 1/80. 1/80. These two ways of expressing the exchange rate are equivalent. So very simply, on one side, we are interested to know the amount of yen for $1. And on the other side, we are interested to know the amount of dollars for 1 yen. Otherwise, there is no difference. They are equivalent ratios, or equivalent price relatives, or price ratios. Is it clear? So this is the nominal exchange rate. Suppose if there is a rise in the exchange rate, suppose, for example, from 80 to 100 yen per dollar, 100 yen per dollar, it is called an appreciation of the dollar. It is called this is very important, technical. Sometimes you will be confused because the graph of the exchange rate is totally different from the conventional macroeconomic as well as microeconomic theory. Sometimes you will see this graph increasing, so you will say it is increasing, but in terms of currency it is increasing. So it is better to understand these two terminologies. You will easily get the fundamental idea.